Mr. Fancy. Mr. Big, fancy, new show.
Yeah. No, I'm fancy.
You are fancy.
You say
fancy
I'm fancy.
guy.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking today?
Were you thinking about me? It sounds like
yeah,
you were.
I was. Well, I was getting ready. Ben Ennis is here. You think that you're the first? You got to be. You have to be the first, the very first host in Fan 590 history. One of the biggest, most illustrious stations in North America, biggest in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
First host ever to host both drive time shows.
That's not true, but
who was it?
McCowan used to do the morning.
I didn't know that.
Ever briefly.
Okay, but then so then it's just you and McCowan.
You might be right.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of legends.
That's what I'm saying. you're making way, kid.
I thought you were gonna say that I'm the first guy to do hit for the cycle when it comes to this radio station, in that I've done every single hour I think there is of radio in the day. And I mean overnight too, because I've done overnight stuff.
You did noon? No, but you mean just as a fill-in?
Yeah, no, full-time host. I've done, I think, every time slot is every daytime time slot. But I've literally, I think, been on the station every possible hour in a 24-hour clock. Because I made my debut.
Overnights were crazy. They used to be like you'd go through the night with a live host. Do you remember there was that guy who put himself on air when they told him, "Hey, don't go on air," and he thought he would get away with it because it was nighttime, and
the greatest. I mean,
it's truly the greatest audio that I've ever heard in my life.
Alex Xero works for 680 right now. Has an incredible library of some of the greatest outtakes and bloopers in Sportsnet 590 the fan history, and that's the best one. That's a top 5 for sure.
Oh, that's my favorite of all time. Mm-hmm. It's a guy who's trying to make
an op on the other side of the glass. So not an on-air personality. No. We were in not live programming. It was like a feed of a CBS radio or something, and it went down, and then instead of running...
It didn't go down, though. This is the thing. It didn't go down. He tried to audition for an on-air position, a week or two prior, and was shot down viciously.
Curious circumstances, for sure.
He was shot down viciously because the demo tape, which is almost as funny as the live on-air thing, was his college radio, just him reading highlights like, what happened in the NFL? He was trying to basically do NFL Blitz. Actually, it was kind of ahead of its time because if you've ever heard the show Pardon My Take, they do a
Never heard of it.
I know, it's a little small operation they've got there. They do this thing at the beginning of, it's got to be Mondays or Tuesdays. I stopped listening to it a long time ago because they have these really great bits, and I went, if I hear this, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say one of their things.
They've been stealing your bits, actually.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's nice of you to say. But they would do like a fake NFL Blitz thing. That's essentially what this guy was doing, except for not funny at all.
Yeah.
Except for with not 1 ounce of humor. And he decided that he was going to crack his debut overnight and be able to kind of get away with it.
Yeah, which was spectacular. Yeah. I mean, it was also spectacular because he tried to take calls
and didn't know how to do it, which was his job, was to be able to operate the board.
No, that's an all-time clip when it comes to
I'm gonna have to play
station.
that in the pod only section sometime.
You know what I hope no one ever finds are some of the clips of my early days on the radio station.
Dude, I know.
Because those
one day those will resurface. I remember when I used to have my first air checks even.
Yeah.
And I would think something sounds good. Same thing to this day in the sense of you think it sounds good and you leave with some confidence. And then Joe cuts the clip and I watch it for 5 seconds and go, I'll never show up to work again.
Can I tell you, honestly, I have the reverse experience because I do something and I'm like, I don't know how that went. And I go back and say, it's not so bad.
So you see you and you go, I'm a big fan. In the moment, here's the thing. In the moment, I'm my biggest fan.
Oh, see.
In the moment, I'm going, I'm crushing it. I'm crushing it.
The way I live is the better way to live.
No, I agree. Yeah. I agree. But when later, the second the show is done, the second that I enter back into the real world, it's like, you know how on hallucinogenics, it's about transitions? So you go from one room to the next.
Not familiar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. You go from one room to the next, and that's when the impact hits you. That's me. Every time I open the studio door and I walk outside, I go, I'm a fraud. Just freezing cold.
You're not a fraud.
Oh, God. I can't believe that I just put that out there. I can't believe I said those things. People must hate me.
Yeah. There's a lot of your life in which you are a fraud. I would say, no, the job not. No, you're good. You got it,
Again,
man.
You're talking to me right now while I'm on mic.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You're talking to the guy.
Once the show's over, I'll reiterate, not a fraud.
That's when I need you to pump my tires.
All right,
right now.
Yeah. Oh, you're
I'm
in the middle.
Zone, This is
You're
such
the best that ever lived.
Oh God, I'm ruling. I am absolutely dominating right now. So yesterday was Leafs Media Day. It's yeah. At this point, you know what I think Media Day is for? Funny clips that we'll see aired on the station for a very long time. So it'll be, hey, can you draw something, random player? You know, stuff like that. Hey, can you do a wacky thing? And who has the best style? Then they show up a card. That's what Media Days are for now, right?
I guess.
Yeah, because they used to be about addressing a team, and now I thought about it all yesterday. It's just get the wacky content from the athletes, try to show some personality, and keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving.
It seems like an exercise in futility with this Maple Leafs team, except
Not
for
that's everybody.
Yeah, I guess Ryan Reeves is like, maybe that's the whole purpose of the 3-year deal worth $4 million is that he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the go-to guy for levity, for what you're talking about, for a good quote.
He didn't talk yesterday, though, in actuality.
Yeah, but I mean,
he did the wacky content, though.
Yeah, he did the wacky content at the golf tournament, which will take us through the entire week, right? That hey, I wouldn't let people yell in Joe Wall's face when the series is over. I'd track them down to their cars. Like, okay.
I made that same joke yesterday. He said, "I'd love to see him try." What, you on the ice in overtime?
Yeah, right.
What are you talking about? I'd love to see him try that again. Well, he already got away with it. They won in overtime at the end of the series. But yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, that's great. That's really cool stuff. And people all around him going, "Oh, yeah, he'll be amazing." It'll be so sick. You coming off the bench, flying in, beating him up.
Getting suspended for the next
never
10
playing
games
again in your career.
Season. Yeah, that'll be good.
Sick. So sick. Anyway, I'm going to talk about the only thing that was mined out of it is I'm pretty well convinced that they didn't show up with the Nylander center thing as whoopsie, it was a little leak. It was hold on, I'm actually going to save this for tomorrow. Guys, I got Justin Bourne tomorrow. I'm going to do full Leafs deep dive. I got big conspiracy.
Oh, I have the same thing.
No, but it's layered.
What do you mean it's layered?
What was your thing then?
Yeah, it was a contract thing. It was like, hey, listen. Okay, here's
there's
two
things. Well,
I was gonna say
you know why? Hold on. This is a little inside baseball for the audience.
Yeah.
The reason why we're stepping on each other right now is because one of the biggest things for our friendship is competing for who had a take. We spend so much time with each other that whenever there's a good take that lasts, it's a competition of, wait, I'm pretty sure I said that first. No, you said, yeah. So anyway,
so
it's like two comics where you're like, you going to use that?
So there's two ways to view it. There's one, hey, maybe you can hack it. And maybe, you know what? If you are playing up the middle and you can transition to our number 2 centerman, maybe there's a world in which 10 million per makes sense. The other side of it is like, hey, look, you couldn't hack it. And you know why Austin Matthews gets paid the way he does, despite having the same number of goals as you, is because he can hack it, and he's a 200-foot player. And you bring that to negotiations in season. I mean, is that somewhere close to what you were thinking?
Pretty much. I think it's layered in two sense. I think that, one, they brought that out yesterday so that everybody would shut up about the contract for a day or two, right? As they're just trotting these dudes out.
That's a good point,
instead of them getting, hey, where's Nylander's contract at? Yeah. Now it's, hey, could Nylander work at center? And then you're going to wake up in 2 weeks.
Not that he cares. Like, I guess, like, do you really not want people talking about the contract? I don't think it's going to impact him negatively. He feels like a guy that just does not care.
I don't agree. I think that all of these athletes, from every experience I've had,
he's a confident fellow.
Yep, that they're confident, but that this stuff always gets through, and that guys are generally aware. I just do. I think that it's a very, very rare breed that is able to completely knock out all the noise and truly not care. Do I think there's degrees of it? So do I think like Nylander's awake at night going, oh, I hope people don't make fun of me about the contract? No, I think that he's a cold, calculated business guy who's very willing to bet on himself, right? But I do think that some of this permeates to him, probably frustrates him, and that he doesn't like some of the critiques, and that's even part of this in the fact that he's willing to go to the wall over it is because he's already lived it and he already has experienced it with these other guys. But hold on. I think that, number one, the conspiracy, the tinfoil hat, is that they're trying to change the narrative around William Nylander, which they did to some success. And then conspiracy number 2 is that you're right. It's
setting him up for failure.
They're setting him up Well, here's the thing. If he has great success,
yeah, again, you're willing to pay him.
No, not only that, you're all of a sudden you've got 3 centers, you've got 3 lines, you've solved you've unlocked the Rubik's Cube. You've got there it is. After 8 years, we finally did it. We did the Rubik's Cube. And it was just Nylander down the middle and all. Because the last time they tried it was one of the stupidest things Sheldon Keefe ever did, which was in the playoffs.
Well, they
and
did
a
it
do or
twice
die
last
game.
year, but yeah.
No, but famously it was
Columbus.
Hey, we're in the playoffs. It's do or die.
Yeah.
Let's try it now. Let's put him out there. See what happens. He was bad, and the rest is history. So I think that part of it is all of a sudden you might limit a bit of the ice time. All of a sudden you're saying, hey, can you carry a line? Because if you can carry a line and you can be a producer without an $11 million center, either Matthews or Tavares on your line, then maybe that is what you're worth. But if you're a guy who goes down and plays a line and has to play down the middle and play hard minutes and play a 200-foot game and also produce, what are your stats going to be? Exactly. And all of a sudden, and this is why, anyway, so yeah.
So I said it first, so do I get credit for that take first?
I think I did it in a good way, though. You did it kind of haphazard.
It's your show.
I know,
I mean, listen.
I know. It's a hard position for you to be next to me, who is on fire all the time when he's on the mic.
Forget it. I'm not going to tell you you're not a fraud at the end of the show. You are a fraud. This is fraudulent.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so you got a new show. Let's just talk about this for a second.
Don't bury the lead. It's 11 minutes in.
No, it was what we said a little bit off the top, and then you tried to be all humble and move it off of you, which is fun, which is cool. How many hours? So what? Yusei Kikuchi tries to get 14.
Yeah, which I scoffed at first, and then I heard some of the quotes yesterday. The players talking about it, how like Whit Merrifield's like, I got a bunch of pictures on my phone of him falling asleep in the clubhouse.
I thought, okay, that was the thing. I thought the exact same thing. You know what I pictured last night? I was like giggling to myself, and because I couldn't think of a funny enough tweet because I just don't have the writer's brain. I have the ideas brain. But I just thought of when they shortened baseball games when they decided to put the pitch clock in. How Yusei Kikuchi just went home and just like hugged his wife and started to cry, just like tears streaming down his face. Like 2.5 hours. I'll be out of there. I'll be home. I'll get right to bed. And I also pictured his wife just always forgetting that he's in the house because he's asleep all the time.
Cat.
Like she's just around, and that's it. It's like, oh, you see the cat like moving around. It's like, oh, you're up, and he's like, I'm just going back to sleep. I'm just going to the living room to lay down and sleep. Please be quiet. She must be the most quiet lady on earth.
Yeah,
she must not make a peep.
Yeah,
I found out she's married. He's married yesterday. Jobo put it in the doc.
I think he has a kid too.
They must be so quiet.
Listen,
Or do you think he's just full Dracula, where he's got his own compartment in the house? Where
that's what I was gonna say. Where it's like vacuum sealed.
It's like Joe Rogan in the what's it called, the sensory deprivation tank, where no one can get in there.
Probably some good parenting happening there, eh? For Yusei, where he sleeps.
Don't say that. That's too far. You can't comment on.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Well, here's the
thing.
Half
Half of the day.
Here's the thing.
In bed, the other half at work.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's 14 hours, but then, you have to calculate. Do you think that he's a guy who sleeps the 14 hours and then he's just scrambling to get to work on time? He's just rushing in. He's just sitting there on the highway going, come on.
I need to know so much more about it. Like, is he in deep, like, REM sleep for part? Like, is it just him? Is it, like, restful, like, like, mindful resting?
Yeah, there's no. There's no way he's out cold for 14 hours a day. It's just, I cannot possibly believe. But could you imagine the gall to say that to people, right? That, hey, you know why I think I got hurt? And they're like, why is that? You didn't stretch properly. You slept weird last night. You were lifting weights and you felt a little impingement. It's like, no, normally I sleep 14 hours. Yeah. Like telling this to your boss. Yep. Or to, which is, I don't know, the people, right?
Oh, the fans are his boss.
Kind of.
They pay his salary.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think the fans are everybody's boss, ultimately, at the end of the day.
Sure.
And that you go, it's just because I didn't get my 14 hours of sleep last night. I only got, what did he even say, too? He was like, it was
11.
Only 11.
He got 11 hours sleep instead of 14.
Yeah, it's truly the most, it's one of, okay, when you think about this baseball team now and we go back, do you remember how 2013 there was the like Kawasaki moments where it was just like, it got like Kawasaki zany moments, right? And
it was the only positive recollection of 2013.
Yeah.
And you know what? Mark DeRosa's in a great spot on MLB Network. It kind of made Mark DeRosa's media career because he was his front man. Yeah. It was him and Munenori Kawasaki talking to the media after these games.
And then there was like the Joe Biagini thing where people thought it was amazing, and then after like 4 goes, I mean, that's the thing.
That's a real litmus
It was
test
right out of the gates. People got excited because they went, this guy's got a personality. But then like 3, and then all of a sudden a week later came out that they were really worried about him getting bullied by his teammates because he was it's too wacky. I think that the Kawasaki, this one's going to go down in terms of all-time Blue Jays lore of just a reference that I think you can use with anybody. Like
I agree.
If you sleep too long and you come out of your room and you're at a cottage weekend, right? The guy who sleeps the latest, you can be like,
Kikuchi.
"Oh, good morning, Kikuchi." Like that's.
I mean, I already referenced it on my tweet about taking over mornings. That like I'm going to live the reverse Kikuchi.
But this is what I was saying: is how long? Well, Kikuchi couldn't do your job for one day. It's rare. It's rare to say that to an athlete that like you have a better job of doing Yusei Kikuchi's job
or better likelihood. At least I could stay conscious.
That's what I'm saying.
To throw 100 pitches
that's what I'm saying.
got hit to the moon.
Yes,
right?
That's what I'm saying. You could at least stand out on the mound. And
he could.
Throw.
They'd be bringing him in here on a board. Like
stretcher. Yeah, they would lay him down here, and he'd be like, I don't know what's happening, but this is not when people are meant to be awake.
Here's the thing. Like you talk to enough pro athletes, and we have, and hockey players, they love their naps. Like they sleep a ton, right?
Of course.
But that's what's so crazy about this is that pro athletes who sleep a ton, love their sleep, know the value of sleep and how it impacts their performance. Look at the Yusei Kikuchi 14 hours and say that's abnormal.
Hey, I gotta say something too. The nap science, I'm pretty pissed off about. I've been sitting on this for a while.
What?
Well, okay. So pro athletes, like what? This probably started happening during the LeBron era with the Heat, I would say. Somewhere in there, right? Where all of a sudden athletes and naps, it's critical. The athletes got a nap. They got a nap so they can have their peak performance at night and the blah, 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 blah. And actually naps. And wouldn't it just be great if we could all nap? And then I subscribe to a lot of podcasts.
Oh my God.
And so it's funny, I subscribe to TED Talks. And they're either, it's always one of two things with TED Talks. It's always like climate change. And I go, yeah, all right. And it's just either, hey, it's all you, or hey, be optimistic about something, or hey, try to change the world, you peasant on the subway right now. I'm like, okay. Or it's sleep and how important sleep is, right? Sleep is hot. Sleep is hot in the streets.
Is there a counter argument? Like, are there some people not as important?
Buddy,
I love it. Oh my goodness, I'm getting 4 hours of sleep now.
No, that's that. You're dead. You're dead. You're totally dead. No, you're genuinely.
Because like I also looked at the alcohol thing. I was like, you can't. It was like 1 drink a week, and I was like, ooh, that's not so great.
Between the beers and the sleep you're gonna get doing this show, I'd say you got until 48.
That's fast approaching.
Let's do in the podcast only. Remember Death Clock? Where it was like you'd put in your birthday or whatever, and they would tell you when you die. We'll do that in the pod. We'll find out when Ben's going to die today. But now apparently naps are bad for you.
What?
Yeah, it's like eggs. You know how eggs sometimes are the healthiest thing you can eat, and then 1 week it's like, dude, if you ate way too many eggs, you're toast. You're donezo.
Okay, I didn't realize there was.
You should probably be careful with your naps. Is all I'm saying. The one thing that you get.
How about this? How about people do not necessarily what feels good, but what feels right?
Whatever happened to just a good quality 8 hours, and that's it. You go to bed and you wake up and it's 8 hours.
I
of
wish.
sleep.
I don't think this new gig is going to be.
No, that's
allowing me to get 8 hours. But
I would actually love that if you did it, where you just said, I'm the first morning show where I prioritize my health.
Right.
And
I just lean on Brent for all the sports. Like, what happened in sports?
Every morning, it's just Brent does a breakdown for you, like, okay, so they're in the 6th inning. And you're like, whoa! No way. Then what happened? I'm into that show, actually. I think I was going to ask you if you had any ideas already planned out, but that sounds like the best one
Justin Cuthbert actually hit me with something that was pretty revelatory, that he, like, on West Coast Leaf games, he tapes the whole game, goes to sleep at, like, 7, and then wakes up ultra early to watch the game back, which I was like, that kind of, I can get behind that. There's some logic behind that. No, don't roll your eyes. Have you ever done it?
Yeah, buddy. First of all, that's a standard play move. So for you to say it's revelatory is crazy. But here's how that actually works out.
In my experience doing like this show or that time slot in the brief times I've done it on West Coast Leaf games, I've just gone on the 2 hours sleep.
Yeah, dude. Not only that, if you try to go to sleep and wake up at What time to watch that game? 3:30, 4?
Yeah.
Right? Like a serial killer? Like you're just up, you're up when no one else is. You're Nightcrawler, you're Jake Gyllenhaal and Nightcrawler.
Actually gonna be
you're all pale and you just wake up and you're watching the film and like in the room, Nightcrawler style.
Great movie.
It is a great movie. That's you. When I want something, that's you. To your wife when you're asking for coffee at 3:30 in the morning. When I want something, it means I want it. Now, that's you, creepy Nightcrawler. Anyways, your brain is not able to process what's happening. You're running on no sleep. It's just like you're watching the sport, and then all of a sudden you're doing the fast forward. Yeah, you're not retaining. You're kind of fast forwarding. You're not watching the moment. I think not to cast aspersions here. I think Cuthbert is like, oh, I recorded it, and then he's watching the highlights, and he's like, oh, I saw it. I don't think he's watching the whole game. I don't think anyone's capable. Man, waking up that early to watch that much content is a wild. It's not a thing. You wake up. What person wakes up and like doesn't go to the gym immediately? That's just able to go like, I'm gonna wake up and go sit on the couch and
I will say that like looking at screens, the first thing you do when you wake up is a bad idea. And when I do it, I do feel tired.
Boy, we are basically a wellness podcast.
I think
today.
so, right?
Yeah, this is good.
A lot of Andrew Huberman
I know,
podcasts.
We're hubing.
Yeah. I know. I got big plans.
We've given you naps are bad. We've given you screens are bad.
I just talked about how now like every day I do the 2-minute cold shower every morning.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's beneficial. I don't know. But what you can you're gonna roll your eyes at that?
No, I just like the idea that they have ice baths, but you don't get that. You're just
in
a cold shower and you're like, we're the same. You see those guys and they're doing the cold plunge and you're like, that's all of us together.
No.
I turn the shower 75% down.
It's a baby version of that. I understand. But you know what? It feels cold.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You even think the fact that you call it a baby version of it means that you're in the same. Like you're
what? What do you want me to call it? Like
nothing. It's not even worth bringing up.
A zygote version of it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly that. Here's the thing. I don't want to hear about it at all because it's so uninteresting.
What do? You don't even do the baby version of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't think that's a baby version of it. That's my point.
No, it is. You know what? You know how I know? No,
I don't reference it to people. I don't walk around and go.
Well, I didn't do it. You have a cold shower?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay, so I didn't.
Yeah,
I thought they were only for psychopaths, which explains why you did it. Yeah. But no, the science makes sense, right? That you start your day with something that you don't want to do that sucks, and then the rest of your day feels better. That you get a little trough in endorphins, and then they boost back right up after that.
Okay,
don't discount it.
You sound like you're pretty on top of it. Hey, you guys just heard that, right? Yeah, you're obviously going to follow that. That's pretty conclusive. That sounded pretty conclusive. Okay, so I have 2 questions for you today. 2 big questions. Number one is, so the Yankees are just terrible, right? It's just
no. They have 2 guys.
Yeah.
And Michael King looks like he's going to be a problem next year.
Michael King is good. It's funny because I've always been a proponent of if the relief pitcher is good, try to stretch him out guy. I remember that was the big thing with Asuna.
But it can blow up in your face.
Sure, of course. That's what they do with
Chamberlain. Oh, yeah, there's lots of guys.
Yes, there's guys like that.
Daniel Bard is like a famous example of that. Like, guy was a lights-out reliever for the Red Sox, and basically it looked like his career was over before he resurfaced with the Rockies.
I will say, if I was the Yankees, I'm not paying attention to Michael King at this point of the year. I don't know how many outings he's had. Like, he's got the 2.74 ERA or whatever, but how long has he been starting for?
It's about 5 starts now.
Okay,
but that was the longest he'd gone. He threw like 100 pitches yesterday.
I know. That was what my impression was. I'd like to see if I was the Yankees. I'm not thinking like my great data point is, did you strike out the Blue Jays or did you get all the Blue Jays out, right? It's
but he's faced other opponents.
Sure.
And if you're a Yankee fan, you had very little to be excited about this season.
Unquestionably.
You have to watch Giancarlo Stanton play baseball every day.
This is the Giancarlo Stanton Giancarlo Stanton's when you go over to a friend's house and they have the old pet that's like moving around and you're like, it's like a cat with the tail where there's no fur on it anymore and you're like, hey, what's up with that? And they're like, we got to give him his shots. And you're like, you should just give him
the shot.
Yeah, that's Stan. It's like sad. You're like watching. You're like, oh. Mr. Mittens is here. Yay. And everybody knows Mr. Mittens. He's been around for a long time, but really it's just sad.
And Mr. Mittens used to be like such a snuggly, useful cat. Yeah. Like he would greet you at the door and he'd purr. It was great to see Mr. Mittens.
When it was Mr. Mike Mittens, it was a fun time. And Mr. Giancarlo Mittens, not so good. Anyway, it made me think of this, is if you could pick one team to be bad forever, who would it be?
Ooh. Boy, it might be the Yankees.
I thought that's what inspired this. I know who I'd pick. It wouldn't be them, but yeah, who would it be? Because I thought about this where it's like, you have to, this is one thing I'll bring up right away. Your immediate mind goes to, if you're a Toronto sports fan, you say the Habs, right? You go, oh, the Habs.
No,
but then I
that's
thought,
not true.
But that's it, is I went in my mind and I went, there's no way I would want the Habs to be bad forever, where it was just like no fun. Because what did we say when they played each other in playoffs?
Yeah.
In the fake playoffs that don't really count anyways, because there was no fans there.
You
It
can't
was like
talk
nurses.
about
Yeah,
that.
exactly. That one, more of an asterisk finals that no one really ever is going to remember that you should.
Yeah, how fair is it that the Canadians got fans at Game 6
no,
when the Leafs didn't have fans in the first two?
Not enough people talk about that. Yeah. Anyway, or that Alex Galchenyuk was sleeper cell, where he was just still playing for the
Also, great point. Where's the 30 for 30 on that?
Probably coming out soon, I'd say. Yeah. What's it? Untold is what they're now called. Untolds. Untold. Alex Galchenyuk, sleeper cell. You're like, yep, knew it.
Yeah.
Absolutely knew it. But I would want. People get mad when I say stuff like this, but I like it when the premier franchises are good. I've said the thing about how I would actually want, during his actual I could throw phase for Shohei to go to the Yankees rather than the Dodgers. I'd rather him go somewhere else other than those two places. But I just I like being able to see guys.
You know what? That's a great point. That's That's an argument against the Yankees. And
That's
where my thought process goes to is because of the insane run of Boston pro sports over the last 20 years, you have to choose a Boston sports team.
Okay, this is interesting.
And I don't think it feels like piling on. Like, it feels like the Patriots are going to be that. So, like, don't worry about the Patriots. Like, I feel like that.
But you wouldn't choose the Patriots, would you?
I guess
like,
not.
are they relevant enough in your life that
I don't have
you
a rooting
meet the
interest.
one Patriots fan, you're like, you suck forever.
They do suck.
I
There's
think
a lot
that's
of them in the building.
By the way, I think that's a good answer. Because it really punishes the bandwagons fans, and it kind of links off to what, But anyway,
but no, I think what you said about the premier franchise being bad and how that's no good for the sport in general is the argument against the Yankees and an argument for the Red Sox. I think Red Sox might be. I mean, because you got to choose a divisional opponent. Because it'd be nice to have like one team that you get to play 13 times a season that stinks, and the Blue Jays have none right now. So I think, combined with the recent run of success, the fan base in general, I would take the Boston Red Sox.
So let me tell you this. In baseball, you know who I'd pick?
Who?
Rays. I hate them.
Sure.
No, because they're everything I hate. They're everything I hate. So I was looking at payroll stuff, right?
Actually, I'll let you say, but I'll say the argument for that is that they don't have a giant fan base, so you're not crushing too many people. So there's a human element to this.
So there's a few things here. There's a few things. Number one, they're 27th.
Dickie V though.
They're 27th in payroll. Yeah, it's the one. This is what's it called? The trolley problem, where you take out one person, you save five.
Yeah.
That's the Diggy V. you got to sacrifice his fandom because it's just like we got to save all the rest of the people. If it was just for me in the division, I'd pick the Rays because nothing frustrates. The Yankees spend almost $300 million on their team this year, and they suck.
Yeah.
And they haven't figured out clearly in modern baseball how to mesh the two worlds, right? They just go out and they spend a ton of cash, and they went too old. Yeah, this year.
They won 100 games last year.
Yeah,
I know.
fine.
And
I love how the guy who's been putting his stake in the ground that the Yankees suck for the last decade is now like, the Yankees been pretty good, revisionist history. Anyway, you're such a contrarian. That was predictable. Anyway, my point is that Yankees fans are annoying. I can't stand Yankees fans. When they show those shots of the Bronx and it's the guy with the open Yankees jersey with the Judge name on the back instead of just the number and the big gold chain and the tank top.
Moon jail for those guys with
the name. Of course, man.
Yeah.
Those guys, you look at them and you say, how did this happen? How could you become you, right? It's like you need the biopic, like the Dahmer biopic, where it's like, oh, okay, so taxidermy, right? It's just too young roadkill taxidermy. Got it. All right, that's how you get the Yankees gold chain, whatever. Like all that. You try to put the pieces together. I still think that it is more entertaining in a big spot to beat those franchises than anything else. Like if you can beat the Yankees in a memorable playoff series, you're the Blue Jays, right? You can beat them. Like, think about the series when the Jays just got David Price. And I know it's regular season, but going in there and ending the Yankees' regular season at home in 2015, that's one of the most special moments of the 2015 run for me, is beating the Yankees. It has more equity. I love that. I wouldn't pick one of those teams to be bad forever because, I want the Leafs to beat the Habs in a meaningful spot. I want to have what they have, which is bragging rights and saying, we humiliated you. You had expectations, you had hope, you had belief, and we ended it. Our team ended it. God, that's the sweetest thing. Seeing a real fan of a real team broken, wish I could see it.
Wow.
Wish I could see more of it.
Wow.
The Rays don't have any real fans. It's a fraudulent organization, but they're always good at baseball. And it's annoying that in this division where you have the heavyweights that spend a bunch of money, although Boston's 13th in payroll this year, but this is viewed as a step back, and they just fired their GM because they're like, yeah, we got to get back to winning.
Yeah.
We've had the cycle of losing. We got to get back.
Yeah, the GM who they told, hey, can you lop off a whole bunch of payroll? Oh, we didn't win? You're fired.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. And they went, hey, we're not giving Mookie Betts any money, but you're going to wear this.
Yeah, you're the guy that has to trade him. You have an edict to trade him away.
Get rid of him.
That's your lasting legacy here in Boston. See ya.
See you, buddy. See you, buddy boy. No, I want to get rid of the team that has a lower payroll, that spends less money, more than $10 million. More than 10. Let this sink in for a second. They spend $15 million less than the Washington Nationals. They spend over $20 million less than the Miami Marlins.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like, the Tampa Bay Rays have a payroll of $79 million, which is only, Baltimore's a weird situation. We'll see what ends up happening there. And whatever. The Baltimore's actually lower than them this year, $71 million, which is incredible that their owner had the stones to step out there and go, I don't know, we might not be able to pay these guys when they're all due for money. It's like, yeah, you're getting this incredible price break right now. Everything that is happening to you is you're only paying more than the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Oakland Athletics, who Oakland is actually, when you look at this and you see they're spending $58 million a year.
You're like, on who?
Yeah, but not even on who. It's just, that's so, like, the fact that you're $10 million behind the next team and, 20 million plus behind the Tampa Bay Rays is, it's like, how is that allowed? How is this? How you got to have a floor of some kind that's higher than this in baseball, I think. But anyway, my point is that I hate how the Royals do business.
The Rays.
What I said, the Royals? Yeah. Sorry, I was reading their name because they're right above the Rays. I hate how the Rays do business. I hate their analytical approach. I think that they are partly responsible for ruining baseball. The Blake Snell moment was one of the worst things that I've ever seen in the history of professional sports. I don't like their uniforms. I think they're ugly. I wish, if the Rays didn't exist, I think the world would be a better place. That's my point.
It's not a bad argument at all.
Yeah,
I kind of like it a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought about it.
And that we don't have these discussions because they're not in the playoffs. We won't have these discussions about either the fans actually showing up for the playoffs or not.
Yeah. They don't do anything for the sport. All of a sudden they're in a World Series. Nobody cares. Exactly. It's just it's irrelevant. At least if the Yankees are in a World Series, right? You're going, hey, the Yankees are in a World Series. You can sell that to somebody.
Dude, you know who should be actively. This is maybe extreme. The player should be tanking. Like, if you're a Rays player, you should be tanking because it's anti-labor, too. The way they hold down service time, the way they don't pay players.
Yes.
It would really benefit the players if the Rays stunk because the Rays would be like, well, this hasn't worked no more. We actually maybe have to invest in payroll here.
Yeah.
Oh, you sold me on it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. And my personal answer would be the Oklahoma City Thunder because they stole the Sonics, and it's a horrible market to be in, and it would be great if they lost forever, the NBA would move them. Because people would stop going because they literally have to get everybody in that Dust Bowl to show up to the games.
Yeah, but isn't that like if you're a fan of NBA basketball in that region, don't you know that? Isn't it kind of like being a Winnipeg Jets fan that you got to show up, you don't want to lose it?
I know, but but we've already seen with Oklahoma City they might have some problems. There was
their fan base, really?
Yeah. I saw a clip going around of Bill Simmons.
Of course, you're like paying attention to this because you're actively rooting for them to not show up. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. There's no franchise I hate more than the Oklahoma City Thunder, even more than the Habs. Yeah, I don't care. I hate them. That's the worst part. The worst part of the Oklahoma City Thunder is that the entire time they've existed outside of the Sonics, they've been relevant to me and they've been scooping. Kevin Durant was my favorite player in the NBA, and they had him during his prime.
And it looks like they're ready for a decade-long run of super relevance.
Shea and Lou Dort, the two Canadian guys, and they're going to have Chet, and they're going to have, I love Josh Giddey. Yeah. Their whole team I find entertaining. They hit on that kid last year. I'm blanking on his name. What's his name, Armin? The draft pick that they had last year.
Jalen Williams?
Jalen Williams.
Oh, yeah, there's two Jalen Williams, right?
Yeah, it's just, but the Jalen Williams, I'm watching these games and going, so this is just a real thing that happened to them? No, and now they're going to have all this draft capital. It's going to be amazing for them. They're going to have another. I thought I avoided the Durant, Harden, Westbrook thing.
No.
Serge Ibaka.
This is going to be worse.
And now, I don't think it's going to be worse necessarily. I don't know.
Well, they didn't win a championship.
I know, but those guys, that was if you keep that core of talent together, you 100% win. Like, no doubt about it. If you don't have
it was sliding doors for James Harden, too.
And, no question.
And he's a winner. Like, he starts his career as a winner.
Yeah, he was Manu Ginobili. And he was like going to be better, possibly Manu
Wow.
Ginobili, more talented Manu Ginobili, and they blew that up way too early. And the craziest part about that is they did it a year too early. Anyway, we don't need to go into that rabbit hole. But yeah, I would say that if I could pick one team to be bad forever, I think it would be the Tampa Bay Rays. They're in division. I hate them. The Jays are tortured there. They're just bad. You go there, you get layups. They just become kind of the Oakland Athletics, because that's the thing. At least with Oakland, they have the, they take a knee every year. They're bad. Then
It's
every
only a
once
recent
in a
development.
decade they trade now, but they go and get John Lester and they try and then they lose and then they go, we're back to the basement forever. Like, don't worry, we'll stay where we're supposed to stay, down here at the bottom. We're fine. We just want to collect those checks. That's all we want. So anyway, Tampa Bay Rays. That was a good answer.
No, it's not bad. Again, my
And
only
you're sticking
counter
with Red Sox.
Well, my counter would be that you
I
talk
know.
about the fan base and like wanting them to feel it a little bit. Yeah,
Well,
Yankees fans, no doubt, but
Yeah.
any Boston sports fan, like, come on,
But
let's get real.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that the real counter is those franchises, when they win, it hurts everybody else so much more. If the
Right.
Tampa Bay Rays win, we all go, who cares? Doesn't affect anybody.
Yeah.
The Boston, if the Bruins win, if the Bruins win, if any of those New England Boston teams wins, it's a nightmare for us all, right? And you're just spawning more of those fans on the East Coast. Your co-host Brent Gunning, who's the Red Sox guy, like it's just.
I didn't really know that.
Oh yeah, well he's kind of like it's one of those things where he sort of grew up liking. It's a classic Red Sox in Canada guy. This is why you can't have Canadian fans. He liked them because they won, and he went yay, winning,
Brutal.
winning, and then he moved
No,
here.
the only acceptable reason as a Canadian baseball fan is if you grew up on the East Coast, because those, it's the proximity thing.
I think
you know
there's
what?
no excuse.
I'm putting a hole in my argument for the Red Sox because I will say, because I 92, 93 was a formative experience for me when the Blue Jays were winning World Series and, watching the Blue Jays and how exciting it was to watch them. But there's like a 20-year span there where the Blue Jays were not all that relevant. And some of my fondest memories of watching baseball is when the Red Sox and the Yankees were relevant and
That's what I'm saying.
those head-to-head matchups.
No,
So
that's why I can't
that
do
would
it.
stink. You know what? That was what was jarring a couple of weeks ago to see those two play and like not caring one iota who won those games.
I'm basically saying you evaporate one franchise. And I'm saying I would pick the Tampa Bay Rays. It's the best. It's the best thing to do. It's good for the Blue Jays. It's good for the country.
Thanos them.
It's good for the economy.
No, but they. So you don't want to vanish them though. You just want them to be bad in perpetuity.
Sure, they can exist and be around, but yeah. I don't know. They're around, but they're just cellar dwellers constantly. There's one bad franchise forever. Because, the Yankees aren't going to be bad for very long, and that's why I'm really enjoying this. That's why last night I was just enjoying watching out after out after out after out and going, you guys are terrible. This is unbelievable that you and I grew up during the golden years of the Yankees, where it was just anybody that wore their pinstripes, it was, oh my God, can you believe it? They got another
Interesting.
this. And now it's like
Andy Pettit, Roger
Did you know who
Clemens,
Wells was
interesting,
yesterday?
how all those guys did well in Yankees uniforms.
Yeah, but I know. But did you Wells hit that home run yesterday? I don't know what his first name is. I watched the whole game.
Austin
yesterday.
Wells, yeah.
What?
Austin Wells?
I didn't know him. I never heard
He
of
has a
him.
nice mustache.
Don't know him from Adam.
Yeah.
It's like
Seems Austin.
He's Austin Adams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like a fake name. Sounds like a creative player.
No, it's a real name. No, Yankees have to be good, and part of it is also the ballparks too, right? Like you,
exactly. You gotta go. No.
You know what?
You're not going to St. Petersburg.
Yeah, and I don't want to see. Yeah, even Yankee Stadium yesterday. I know they announced 35,000.
I've
was
been to
a
Florida
morgue
twice.
there.
I don't really know where St. Petersburg is.
It's right next to Tampa. It's north.
yeah.
It's like St. Petersburg, Florida.
I've never
It's
been
like
there.
Minnesota, St. Paul,
I ain't never going to go.
or Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Whatever. Anyway, I got one more topic for you, and we'll do that on the other side of the break.
Okay.
And then you're going to stick around for pot only today for a little while.
I guess you bullied me into it.
Yeah,
you
it's
didn't
fun.
give me. You texted me. You're like, you're staying. I'm sorry. There's
Well,
no
because
discussion
there's
about
things,
it.
there's topics
I
that
have a
directly
meeting at 11
involve
o'clock,
you.
but
There's,
okay.
there's,
Sure.
So you have to be in the building. So I'm basically
No.
doing you a favor, giving you things
Not
to do.
in the building.
You're welcome. Oh, where is it?
It's I don't know, at a breakfast place in Etobicoke somewhere.
What? At 11?
Yeah, it's fine. I'll tell them I'm going to be late for you.
Thank you. Oh, you got a breakfast meeting. Oh, so it's not a meeting with anybody of consequence for work.
Oh,
It's
that's
just
rude.
a friendship meeting. Okay, I got it. Anyway, quick break. We'll come back. When do people start apologizing on the Blue Jays roller coaster? Next. This just in from Ben Nicholson Smith. Alek Manoah has received multiple injections to his right pitching arm in recent weeks, following extensive visits with medical professionals. His season is now over.
It was already
I'll
over.
have to. Yeah, okay, I know. But it's like I got to read the article. I guess this is just.
I
the
read
headline.
it.
Yeah. What were the injections?
It doesn't say. That's what's confusing to me about it. He received multiple injections, and while medical professionals have ruled out some injury, they're still trying to find a root cause of the crappiness, and thoracic outlets syndrome is one of the things they're looking at. But this is a very strange story, and obviously, like, it's well sourced. Ben Nicholson Smith all over this bad boy. But yeah, what does that mean? That's again, like, this feels like. Dude, so we had the spin from the team, right? Which was the first story that this came out, what really happened. And now I'm surprised it's happening in season, honestly. I thought there would be a full-fledged PR campaign from his side after the season about what his side of the story was and what he thinks happened to him. But this is clearly the messaging from him will be like, I wasn't mad because I was being sent down for performance reasons. I still think I'm hurt.
Yeah. If I would like... Whew. This is so bad. Like the real side of this is, I already mentioned it on one of the shows a few weeks ago with BNS, actually, or last week. I can't remember exactly when it was. But I theorized about how actually bad this is, and that usually when teams and a player have real deep disagreements about how to treat a medical problem, it results in complete disaster. And most
Jack
famously,
Eichel.
and Kawhi, Jack Eichel, same thing. It's just, you can go down... You can go down the line and try to find me a guy where it just turned out to be, oh, yeah, it's all good now. It's all good. We got over it. Like, no, you could resolve the money thing, right? Yeah. Lamar Jackson. People went, Lamar is done as a Raven. And then they went, yeah, we'll just give you more money. And he went, yep, cool. Love being a Raven. That's fine, right? Money is fine. Money is easy. The medical stuff is not. It gets personal. It's tough.
The counter would be that he's in such a position of no leverage that he has nothing. Like he can't.
No, he can.
He can't.
Yeah, because
he really can't.
No, he can, because it's 2024 next year, and it will be. This is just athlete empowerment, and they want Alek Manoah. If it's funny, we kept saying he's Strowman. He's Big Strowman. He's Big Strowman. Like the pitching profile, everything about him is Big Strowman. But he's more likable. And I used to joke about how this is the advantage big guys have, right? Is they do things the exact same way as small guys, and people are like, that's attitude, and the small guy is a jerk. Hey, he's got big attitude, short guy, who's that? Problem. He's a problem. He's a jerk. I haven't related to this at all. So
you're not that short.
I know.
Really.
Yeah, I know. 5'10" is fine. It's like it's fine.
I think it's honestly the average height for North America.
I know. It's like, yeah, great. Average. That's what you want to be.
6 feet is above average,
I know,
buddy.
That's nice for you. Anyway, my point is that I think that this is not going to go well, and I think if you're a player and you're telling a baseball team, hey, I'm getting shots in my arm, and they're like, we just determined that nothing's wrong with you, and we don't probably want you to be getting the shots, that's bad. But if I was the Jays, this is what I would be doing. I'd be like, oh my God, we believe you now. Actually, we're going to send this guy down. He's going to give you shots. It's Michael's secret stuff. He's gonna give you this injection in your arm.
Saline solution?
And we're gonna put this in your elbow, and it's new science. It's you ever heard of stem cells?
Yeah.
You're getting those, buddy. And then they go to his house, one needle, and he's like shaking his arm, like,
I feel great.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wow. And they went. Everybody wins. The Jays go, we believed in you all along. We were just cooking something up. We got in the lab. We got the guys. They made you the sauce. We figured it out. Anyway, back to the thing. So Jay's roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
And they lose to the 4 games. We're there. Everybody writes them off. I don't even feel bad about anything that I've said because I stand by everything I've said. The Jays have not done anything really spectacular since. They've beat up on some teams that looked like they were just completely done with playing baseball. They scored, a cumulative 7 runs against the Red Sox, including with a 14-inning game.
Yeah.
They just had a game against the Yankees. They piled on some runs at the end but really it's like they scored on a single that shouldn't have been a single, and then they had a pitcher who couldn't find the strike zone that walked everybody in for their runs. And I went, oh, this is nice. This is how they do it with runners scoring position. Just put in a complete head case that can't find the strike zone. Then the Jays will be fine. I don't know if I feel more optimistic about the Jays' chances, but I will say that at this point, they need 6 wins to get into the playoffs in their remaining 10. Like, lock it down. And they're playing that Yankees team again. Maybe it's a disaster against the Rays, for sure, but where are you at just like with the roller coaster, the fact that they're getting into the playoffs now? Like, how do you feel? Because I kind of feel a little like I'm excited for them to try to do it, but I feel a little dead inside.
No,
I feel like
you shouldn't feel dead inside, and I don't apologize either because with every hard take I had after the 4-game series, I did add the caveat: it's baseball, and this team is super weird, and you could see them doing something. You know what? I will say that there's multiple reasons why the 4-game sweep stands out, but most notably is that the pitching was garbage during all of that. And part of it was that they weren't using the high leverage guys. There were few opportunities
now
to do
looking
that.
back on it, Kikuchi probably didn't get 14 hours of sleep before that game.
Yeah, no, he didn't. They only got one quality start out of their rotation, and that was from Hyunjin Ryu, the 4 starters they had in that game. And yeah, Jordan Hicks only pitched in one game, and it was not in leverage. And Jordan Romano, I don't think, pitched in the series at all. Anyways, but that was weird. But no, you're right. They're largely the same team, which is actually a team that might be built for postseason baseball, especially with the bullpen. I mean, it's the number one thing people were screaming about over the last couple of years at the deadline, that they didn't add enough swing and miss arms, and they got a guy who throws 102 now. He's pretty good. Eric Swanson's been good all season long. They have lots of options back there. The rotation is I think, the envy of a lot of teams around Major League Baseball. But yeah, the offense is still the offense. And Vlad hasn't figured it out and is now hurt with the knee stuff. And I don't know, maybe Bo is coming back into Bo shape, and Springer's been pretty good for a long period of time. But no, it's the same team, but the same team that is now 3rd in the American League record-wise and 6th in Major League Baseball.
So the reason I've always the pitching I've always believed in. I will say that, weirdly enough, I've always been a little nervous of Barrios. I've mentioned this many times, but the outing that he just had against the Red Sox when they desperately needed it, when the Jays did only score a run through his start, like I think they gave him 1 run of support. They might have tacked someone at the end. I think they won maybe 3-0.
They did.
Yeah.
Good memory.
Yeah, great memory. That was a big one for me because that was a big spot where they just needed to stop the bleeding, and he did everything that he possibly could to do that. And the Red Sox lineup still more dangerous than this Yankees lineup to me. Like, you watch them, and I know who their players are. I don't know who a bunch of the Yankees are. I didn't know who Wells. Like, there was no Wells on the Red Sox. Who was hitting 4-hole for them, by the way. I was like, okay, sure. And he was good. He double in a home run. I've always believed the pitching staff could be solid. I think it still, for a playoff series, losing Manoah and replacing him down the line with, what was Ryu, it's not going to be super conducive to whatever the long run could be. But the bullpen is great. And you saw Hicks is in the zone right now. He looks awesome, right? They're starting to get stuff from Chad Green. You believe in him. Yeah,
he's throwing upper 90s. He looked good yesterday. You're right, though. It's like, what does it mean against the Yankees?
No, but you're right. But the thing that has me a little bit encouraged, the thing that goes, maybe they could win, is that all of a sudden Bo is turning it up.
Not all of a sudden. I mean, he's had a great season. Coming off the IL second time. But he's hit some balls hard, though. But, did anyone ever doubt? Like, I'm done doubting Bo.
I'm not doubting Bo. I just wanted my thing with him was when he came off the IL the first time, he ends up getting hurt again.
Yeah.
He's clearly just a competitor dog who wants to play baseball.
That is the other underrated thing about Vlad, too, right? Like, as down a season as he's had, he posts. He does play every day.
He does. And that's the thing. Vlad, before he left with the injury, before he didn't play yesterday, all of a sudden he turned on 97 heat. All of a sudden he hit a couple of home runs. And like ballpark factor, whatever, that 97 bomb, I went, okay, if that can happen, that's the thing. Jays are going to have to hit some home runs in the playoffs. Some. You have to hit some. Because we already know that you're not a team that can string together base hits and score runs on top of each other. It's not going to happen.
Yep.
You need to be able to hit the odd long ball. And now with Springer looking Springerish, Bo looking Boish, and some flashes of Vladdy, that's the thing.
Kirk hit a home run 2 days ago.
Yeah. Sure. I'm not there with that yet.
I mean, his power outage has been maybe the most concerning.
Anyway, that's your guy. It's your guy.
370 on
Number
base,
one
buddy.
guy. And then, the Biggio thing where it's like, I kind of like, Biggio. The Biggio turnaround has been, what a PR spin from where we were even earlier.
Not a PR spin. It's
I know.
A reality spin.
Reality spin. Anyway, we got a break, but podcast only. So go to the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, leave 5 stars, follow on Twitter at JD Bunkis and on Instagram. Do both. Reach out anytime. I'm definitely going to post that question today, but